thanks to Hisense for sponsoring a portion of this video. Chances are pretty good that your TV has a sports mode on it, but you might be surprised to learn that that is not necessarily the best setting for watching sports. Stick around and I'll show you what you need to do to get your TV optimized for watching sports. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Caleb Dennison, and today I'm going to walk you through getting the best sports watching experience on your TV. I'm going to start out by talking about what you want to avoid, and then from there I'll walk you through some different options so you can figure out what looks and works best for you. Okay, let's dig in. So at the top of this video, I mentioned that the sports option on your TV, if it has one, is not a great picture mode for watching sports. Like the vivid or dynamic mode on most TVs, the sports option is just going to make the picture look as bright as it can, no matter the cost to other picture quality elements. Plus, motion smoothing is usually going to be turned up to the absolute max. Now, most folks I talk to agree that these picture modes don't look great. They don't suit anything else that you watch and are generally just undesirable. These modes do help TVs stand out in a brightly lit retail space, but they don't tend to look so great in your home. So let's walk through what you need to get the best sports experience. Now, I'm going to go forward assuming you already have the TV that you're going to be watching, but if you don't, here's a link to a video that can help you shop for a new TV if watching sports is your big priority. There's also some helpful info in there about the best sorts for watching sports, be it streaming services versus cable and satellite, that sort of thing. With that stuff settled, here's how I suggest we get started. Pull up a channel playing sports, preferably the sport that you like to watch the most. This way, we'll figure out which settings look best for the sport of your choice. If you like to watch a lot of basketball, use a basketball game. Once you get things dialed in for your preferences, I think you'll find the results work well for all sports, except perhaps hockey, which has just a ton of white in it and is its own monster. I'll talk more about that in a moment. Okay, now that you've got a game running on your TV, start by opening up the general settings and then go to the picture settings submenu. Here you're gonna wanna look for your picture presets. You're looking for stuff like cinema, movie, or ISF bright mode, or even filmmaker mode if your TV has it. Those will usually be below the other ones I mentioned before, like vivid, dynamic, or sports. Now, the reason I suggest starting with one of those modes, the cinema, movie, ISF bright, or filmmaker mode, is because it's gonna give you the most realistic, accurate color possible. Don't worry about how it looks at the start. We'll be adjusting plenty of other stuff, but we want to start from a certain baseline and then experiment from there. Now, it's true, the picture may seem dim at first, but that's actually the first thing we're going to work on. Now, you might go into this thinking, if I want the picture to be brighter, then I need to turn up the brightness. Well, that's usually not going to get you what you want. Depending on the make and type of TV you have, brightness may be the wrong setting to adjust. So here's how to get the brightness you want. The first thing we need to do is find the TV's eco mode and turn it off. Now, it might be worth doing a quick Google search on how to turn off the eco mode on your particular make or model of TV if you don't end up finding it yourself by going into the picture menu or general settings menu. Now, on this Hisense U8H I have here, when you select a picture preset, that automatically disables eco mode, so it's super easy on this particular TV. Other TVs, though, will have it buried in some other menu. Now that you have the eco mode turned off, we want to make sure that either the OLED light source or LED light source is being maximized. Now, on an OLED TV, this will usually be referred to as OLED light level or OLED brightness. On an LED LCD TV like the Hisense U8H here, and yes, that includes QLED TVs, we want to adjust the backlight. So we click backlight, and here we can see a slider bar. If we like, we can turn that all the way up. Now, we also see that the ambient light sensor setting is here. This allows the TV to brighten and dim automatically so that it's comfortable to watch at night, but brightens to the max during the day. You can leave this on if you want it automated like that, but if you just want the brightest picture all the time, then you can turn this off. Now, since this is a TV with local dimming for its backlights, we want to make sure that we have it set up to prefer brightness if you want the brightest possible picture. Again, if that's not your priority, you can skip this part. But generally, folks like a bright, punchy picture for sports. So I'm going to go ahead and go into this local dimming section and turn it on to high. Now on some TVs, you may want to choose medium if it looks brighter when you flick around the different options. That's because those TVs will go for maximum brightness with just a little bit of a hit to black levels. If you want the best black levels and don't mind it not getting its brightness, you can choose medium. Just keep an eye on the picture and go with what looks best. Hey everyone, quick sidebar here. You've probably already noticed that Hisense has officially partnered with the NBA. This is huge news for NBA fans. It means great deals on Hisense ULED TVs just in time for one of the most exciting NBA finals we've seen in some time. To celebrate becoming the official TV of the NBA, Hisense is offering some slam dunk deals on its ULED TVs, including the already affordable U6H, the overachieving U7H, and the all-star of Hisense's ULED lineup, the incredibly bright U8H, making it easier than ever to enjoy the finals on a Hisense ULED TV. Now is a great time to pull the trigger. As only Mike Breen can say it,
bang!
And that actually matches perfectly with Hisense's mantra, less talk, more bang. Hisense knows how passionate NBA fans are and is excited for you to benefit right now from ULED TV technologies like mini LED backlighting with local dimming for precise image control, 144 Hz refresh rates for smooth and clear fast action moments, and high brightness for maximum visibility and impact. Check out Hisense's all-new displays inside Best Buy stores across the nation, and you'll see what I mean for yourself. Thanks again to Hisense for sponsoring this portion of our video. Now, all this adjustment so far is primarily for watching SDR, or standard dynamic range content. This will give us the brightest picture. That's what most of you will be watching, SDR sports. But if you are lucky enough to get HDR sports, then just know that your TV brightness is likely to be maxed out automatically, so you don't have to do all of this adjusting for HDR stuff. Now earlier I mentioned that you don't really want to mess with the brightness setting, but if you do want to play with the brightness setting, just know that on most TVs, that will actually be adjusting the blacks. I know, it doesn't make sense, right? But you'll be turning blacks into more of a gray, and most folks don't want that. If you really wanted to play with how bright the picture seems, then you would actually mess with the contrast setting, which can clip out detail in bright areas, but it will make the picture appear to be brighter. I don't recommend you do this, but I did want you to know what those two settings actually do, since it seems counterintuitive. Okay, the next thing I want to talk to you about is color temperature. Since we picked the movie or cinema or theater setting, we have a warmer color temperature, and that means that our colors will be more accurate. They will not be overcharged with blue light. Blue light, by the way, does make stuff seem brighter, but it affects colors in a negative way. We prefer the warmer color temperature when we want an accurate representation of our team's colors, or the grass on the field, or the flooring in the arena. But if you feel like the colors are just a little too tame, then you can adjust to a cooler color temperature. To do that, we'll have to look for that color temperature setting. Now on most TVs, the color temperature is referred to in terms of warm and cool. Sometimes it uses names like natural or vivid to refer to cooler color temps. Other TVs use different names for it, but what I want you to do is flip through the options and look at what happens to just the colors on your TV. Whites in particular will show the most difference. I would encourage you to go for something that looks realistic, not overly vivid and fake. But again, this comes down to your preference, so pick what you like best. Oh, and this reminds me, I want to go back to hockey, which I mentioned earlier. Hockey is just pretty much all white all the time. There are splotches of color from the uniforms, but basically you're looking at a big ice rink that's full of white. These settings that we're talking about are going to be very different for hockey because the TV is basically just going to be beaming bright light all the time. So understand that if you optimize your TV for watching hockey, it might not be optimal for most other kinds of sports. Finally, we need to address motion. Now, most TVs disable or turn motion smoothing way down when you pick the cinema, movie, theater, or filmmaker mode preset. This helps the content look less like a soap opera. But if you want a smoother look to motion, then we can turn on motion smoothing bit by bit to get the look that you want. I just don't like starting with this feature cranked all the way up, as it can be off-putting for a lot of folks. Once again, different TV brands call their motion smoothing different things. It might be clear motion or clear action or smooth motion. You'll probably know what it is when you see it now that you know what you're looking for. Often in this motion section, we'll see two settings, one for de-judder and one for de-blur. On this Hisense U8H TV, under the Advanced Picture Settings menu, we'll see a bunch of presets based on content type. You can try those, or you can choose Custom, which will let you individually adjust de-judder and de-blur. De-blur is the one that you want to adjust first, as de-judder is mostly helpful for movie content at 24 FPS, not so much for sports, which is almost always delivered at 30 frames per second. Now this is where it's critical to have the sports programming of your choice really going. I can't do that here due to copyright stuff, but you can use your imagination. Try adjusting de-judder down to a minimum and then de-blur, notch it up until you feel like you're getting the smoothness that you like. Now, one final note on motion. Some TVs have a feature called black frame insertion, or BFI. It's never called that on the TV. For instance, on this U8H, it's referred to as motion clearness. But black frame insertion attempts to make for clearer motion by inserting a black frame in between every real frame of video. The problem with BFI is that it can be uncomfortably flickery. In fact, it's not recommended for anyone sensitive to flashing lights. I never, ever use this setting personally because it bothers me a lot. But I did want to make you aware of it in case you wanted to try it out or just wanted to know what it was. Once you get things dialed in the way you like, you may want to choose to apply these settings only to the current HDMI input or streaming app, or you can apply it to everything. If you like how it looks for everything you watch, that's great. But if you find that your TV is a bit too bright for regular TV or movie content, especially at night, you can back the backlight or OLED light level setting down to tame the maximum brightness of the TV a bit. There you go. I hope that was helpful. If you have any tips you think might help others, be sure to leave them in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. We do appreciate your support tremendously, so click away at those buttons down below. Be sure to send me a note in the comments. I'll see you on the next video, and until then, here's 2 other videos I think you might like.